All right, number 17, I will embrace my emotions. You cannot control your emotions. You cannot eliminate your emotions, as I preach ad nauseum. Each decision has emotions and stress attached. If you didn't have the part of your brain that was emotional, that allowed you to make decisions, because every decision has emotions. I know I repeat it ad nauseum, but it's like my decision this morning is like, okay, what am I going to eat before coming in here? It's like, oh, we got some leftover tacos. All right, I have a taco, but I'm not going to put a bunch of beans on it because I don't want to be burping and tooting in the middle of my presentation, right? So every decision in your life has an emotion and stress involved with it. Now, when it comes to emotions, the RAIN model comes to mind. You want to obviously recognize what's happening and then allow the experience to be there just as it is. So embrace what's happening, not eliminate, just say, okay, I'm having this emotional reaction because I'm human and it's perfectly normal. Years ago, many years ago, before I learned about this neurology involved, and I learned it from Denise Scholl speaking in San Francisco probably 15 years ago or so. And I learned it from her, and she's referencing what's his name, Descartes, however you say his name, and who else? There's some other people that have done this type of research. But you just have to, before I knew all these things, I would often say, what's wrong with me? You know, why am I so emotional? Well, because I am human and I am alive. So you want to allow the experience to be there. You want to investigate with interest and care. And I know this is kind of touchy-feely, but in an investigation phase, it's like, did you do the right thing? Are you doing the right thing? Now, this might be a bad example. Let's see, is it down today? Yeah, it's down a little today. Oh, it's actually up a little, but not much. Uh, Last week, I talked about putting yourself into unnecessary emotions and putting yourself into an unnecessary state of regret. If you have a 5-point stop, STOP, and a stock, and the stock is bouncing around a point or two, don't live and die by the sword on each little point or two up and down. So just say, okay, well, my stop's in place. It's above my stop. I know, easier said than done. I need to not be too emotional about this. I need to not let the emotions control me. I need to embrace them. Okay. And then kind of nurture it with self comparison. Don't say comparison. My Kunash just slipped out. I saw an RCA sticker today. I haven't seen those in a while. Registered Kunash. Anyway, you want to nurture with self-compassion. Again, don't beat yourself up. Don't ask questions that are going to give you negative answers. Like, don't say, what's wrong with me? Okay. Enough other people tell you that. So embrace your emotions. And then you have to ask the hard questions. Okay. Before going into a trade, ask yourself, number one, is this an FIA trade? And part of that is like, do you really want to put capital into harm's way? Every trade, no matter how fantastic it looks, obviously can result in a loss. And eventually, by the way, it will end badly if you are a trend follower type of trade. Maybe if you're trading some sort of butterfly and it's got to close at the exact point, and then you'll make a little or whatever, or 9 condor or something like that. Yeah, knock yourself out. And maybe there is an optimal point for that, okay? But if you're trend following, the last correction that turns out to be a top you'll give up a lot of money. Now, on a lot of trades, there's been a lot of trades I showed one last week where we stopped out, okay, and had our stop just been a tiny bit further, another quarter point, sometimes another cent or two away, we would have caught another 100% run in that trade, at least from where it was. So you never know if that correction is going to be the last, and then shit happens. Sometimes you get stopped out. So you have to fully accept the risk. I think Douglas, I don't know if I had it in the last presentation, but I think he said that there's any animosity, if that's the word, after you enter a trade, then you have not fully accepted the risk. In other words, things that's easier said than done. And I know this, believe me, and I live this life, and I'm a very emotional kind of guy. I'm super emotional, and I took a personality test, and my agreeableness, as I've said ad nauseum, is pretty much non-existent. And I know that's a flaw in me. So, embrace your flaws, and that could be, and then figure out how to make them a superpower. That could actually be one. Extraneous influences, I talk about this ad nauseum, and it's like, what are you dealing with? Okay, what financial burdens are you under? What jerks are you dealing with in your life? What's going on with your family? Are you taking care? It's kind of like we're in the season. It's like I lost my parents a few years ago, and now my wife is going through that season of the getting up in age and a lot of the accoutrements that comes with that. So, what extraneous influence are you dealing with? And you're dealing with a lot of them, believe me.